Ahoy there crew, this is your captain speaking, and today I'm turning my friend Axeru and I into rival gods. He'll also be posting his own version of this a bit later, so be sure to check out his channel in the meantime. Now I'll start us off with talking about the designs, then move on to drawing one of our epic battles. Let's save the best for last though, and go over mine first. Since we're creating godlike designs, I wanted to place us into different pantheons. It adds a nice extra layer to the rivalry. I turned myself into a Nordic god of the sun. I've had quite a few times where I dove deep into Norse mythology. Unfortunately, I can't say I remember a whole lot, since you can only absorb so much information at a time after all. Now for the visuals, I try to keep my base features similar. My face and ears remain the same, and even though my horns are still there, I decided to make them longer. It helps a lot with the silhouette I was trying to create. Of course, I had to put my hair in braids for more of a Viking look. I made sure to keep the braids swooping out in a similar fashion to my original hair. It adds some more parts sticking out from the head, which made me think of that simple way of drawing the sun. It makes for a nice reference to it. Since I'm supposed to look Nordic here, I added in a fur capelet and details on my boots. It is a little weird to think of the sun god wearing a bunch of fur because of the heat, you know, but it helps carry over the theme and looks nice. Overall, the base outfit isn't too interesting, so it helps add some interest alongside the patterns and belts. But the real star of this outfit is the large sun attached to the belt. It sits at the center of my body, almost just like it sits at the center of the solar system. Now for the color palette, I switched it up a lot. The only colors I really kept are the red and my skin tone. I wanted the palette to be nice and warm since I am supposed to represent the sun here. I only put in some blue to break the warmth a bit and mimic my original palette by having two of the colors be complementary. The blue also works well to represent the sky. Here is my final Norse god design though. It ended up looking pretty cool. But now I can get on to the good bit and show you Axeru's new design. Luckily, I also had a previous design I made of him to trace over for this one. I just put some more care into the thinner line art this time. In this alternate universe, Axeru is the Greek god of the moon. It'll make for a nice rivalry with a sun god. I figured the pairing of a Greek and Norse god would also be fitting since I think they're two of the most popular pantheons. I started Axeru's design off with a slightly different hairstyle. I gave his fringe a side part and made it a little bit more curly. I was almost going to make the back of his hair big and swoopy, but ended up keeping it pretty close to his original design. The base of his outfit started as just a simple robe and belt, but evolved pretty quickly as I drew more parts. I didn't have such a clear idea for his design as my own, so I just went with the flow. I ended up making changes here and there that I didn't like and ended up having to redraw. His base robe remained the same though. I had some fun with it by adding beads to the bottom. At the end of each bead string, I drew the moon phases. That's definitely my favorite part out of both of the designs. Despite the contrasting themes, I wanted us to match just a tiny bit, so he's also wearing a capelet. It's just a different shape though and has a crescent moon as the pen or button, keeping it in place. For Axeru's design, I ended up struggling quite a bit with deciding whether I want to go all out and dress him up in only robes or give him some puffy pants. The latter one. Robes would have closed off the silhouette a bit more. But enough of the design choices, let's talk colors. I kept his palette on the cool side to contrast with the warmth of mine. His palette isn't very bright. The more dull and grey colors just suit the moon theme so well in my head. It also matches his original, more grayscale palette. Here's Axeru's final Greek god form. He looks very cozy, just about ready to go take a nap. But now that we have the designs, let's move on to our epic battle, or well, just as epic as my skills will allow. The poses I drew us in are a little more complicated than the ones I usually draw, so references were pretty essential for this piece. I also rarely draw characters interacting, so it was a nice and refreshing start to the year. We can't just be senselessly fighting though, so I came up with a little bit of a backstory, so I'll just read it for you guys. For millennia, the sun and the moon have created a perfect balance between night and day, and so it should rightfully remain. There is but one who disagrees, Axeru, the god of the moon. He believes that it is his time to light the day, so he slowly encroaches into the daytime, hoping to shift the sun towards the night sky. It's almost unnoticeable. Kelpie, the god of the sun, even ignores it at first. The moon god is just a bit mischievous after all. This only lasts so long though, before the sun god gives in to the moon's taunts. The explosive sun rages, fighting back against the calm and collected moon. This is an ongoing occurrence. The moon god always retreats, so who's to say which of the two would win if they went all out? My bet's on the sun, but I'm obviously a little biased. I'm curious who you guys think would win though, so just let me know. But now let's talk a bit more about the artwork again. I am for sure the aggressor here, while Axeru is just calmly dodging. I think these traits are very fitting for the sun and moon themed characters. Axeru's closed eyes always makes him look so mischievous, so I just had to work that into the lore. For most of this piece, I wasn't certain of what I wanted to do for the background. The sky is a perfect choice though, since we both rule over celestial bodies. The split sky is something that I did on a whim, but it looks really good. It creates a nice separation, but also more contrast between each of our designs and our background, with a lighter design on a darker background and vice versa. I think I'm about ready to unveil this piece though. It came out way cooler than expected, so I'm really proud of it. I just hope Axeru likes it too. And speaking of him, be sure to check out his version of us as rival gods over on his channel. I'll be linking it down in the description. But that's all for today, crew. Be sure to like and subscribe so I can see you again for our next voyage. Bye bye!